Guys, so today I know it's a little bit different. This is a pre-recorded video. It's not live, and it's not the time-lapse video that we're normally what we have been doing the last couple of weeks. And the reason is because I wanted to talk about a topic that I saw on Facebook, or a post that I saw on Facebook, and I wanted to talk about that just a little bit. Not saying I can relate, but then I can relate to the post. So I wanted to kind of talk about that and see what y'all thought about it, to kind of open up, I guess, a discussion of how y'all feel about the post and so forth. Well, basically the post came from a comment that was made on a news article of an incident that happened. So basically, near the hometown that I'm from, there was a mom that she had, I think, 6 kids in all, and she had a child that needed to go to the hospital. She took 3 of the children with her to the hospital and left 3 children at home sleeping. The oldest of the 3 that she left home was 12 years old, and so she left a 12-year-old home. I think one was like maybe 6 years old, and I think the other one was like maybe 2 or 3, but basically they were young. But the 12-year-old had been, according to the article and other comments, the 12-year-old had been babysitting, many other times his siblings, so it was nothing new. And y'all know, at age 12, we were all babysitting our siblings as well. I know times have changed, but back in the day, I was babysitting 6, 7, 8, so to say that he was 12, I feel like that was kind of responsible enough, to be watching the younger ones. I wouldn't leave a newborn, of course, but I mean, I feel like at a certain age, you are capable, if you're mature enough, to babysit. So it was in the middle of the night though, and according to the mom that lost the kids, she stated that she think that there was a fire. Okay, so there was a fire. I'm sorry, I'm kind of backtracking a little bit, but there was a fire, and the fire ended up killing those 3 children that were in that apartment. She actually came home from the hospital while the fire was going, and yeah, and of course, witnessed her children pretty much dying in the fire. So all 3 ended up dying, and basically, when she came back home, whatever, the news people, of course, they always in somebody's face. They started interviewing her, and I mean, I don't even know if she had time to let it sink in, because she wasn't emotional. She was just quite, I don't know, she was open, with her feelings and everything. And she was like, she made a comment that like a lot of people was kind of like, huh? Like, I don't know if she made it self-consciously, or I don't know if it was just all the things that were going on, but she was like, I'm glad we wasn't home, because we could have been dead too. And it's like, I don't think she meant that in that way, I mean, who says something like that? But I can see maybe what she's saying, but it just sounded all kind of wrong. So anyway, they interviewed her and everything, and they're doing fundraisers and raising money to bury the children and everything like that. So anyway, of course, I'm one of those people, I love to go under different posts and read the comments. Like, there's crazy people out there in this world, and they leave the most craziest comments. But this one here, I just kind of want to see what people thought. So I'm going to read to you really quickly. So basically, let's see. Here we go. So I'm not going to read the name of the person, because I'm not friends with that person anyway. This is just a common news station's article, and basically, random people can comment underneath it. So basically, someone had posted something about God or something of that nature, and I wish I would have posted or copied the whole conversation, but I didn't. I thought I did, but I didn't. I copied just a little bit of it. So anyway, basically it was about people that have lost their children, people that had children that has, you know, died due to whatever reasons, you know, whether it be miscarriage, whether it be accidents, whether it be whatever. So anyway, I'm gonna read her post, and then I'm gonna kind of go a little bit further than how I went through what I went through as far as my experience with God and, you know, prayer and stuff like that in regards to a loss. So that's how we get to this. So I didn't want y'all to, you know, think, well, how she just all of a sudden start talking about this. That's where the post, the comment came from, and that's what this video is about. This particular comment based on that accident that happened, that tragic accident with the fire. So she wrote, I believe in God too. Basically, it was having a conversation where one person was talking about how everybody's talking about prayer this, pray that, pray for the family, what that's gonna do, what's prayer gonna change, you know, stuff like that. And somebody was like, well, you must not believe in God if you don't think that God can do this and God can do that. And then somebody was like, I believe in God, but this, that, and the third. So they was going back and forth, basically fussing over who believed in God and what they believed that God could do. So I'm gonna read this post, and I'm gonna go a little bit further in how I feel, and it may be different in how you feel and everything, but you know, I'll touch bases on a few things that I, you know, want to relate to this actual comment. So anyway, she put, I believe in God too. I'm not trying to change your mind. However, I post this to share with others. There are more than one way to interpret the Bible. I will tell anyone who suffered a great loss that it may not have been God's will. Telling someone God caused heartache can make them bitter towards God. Why should a person pray when it has already been determined? The fact that prayer has power means the future is open. There are countless examples in the Bible where God expressed disappointment and acknowledged other spiritual forces that come to destroy. See, I lost a child. I had to dig deep. See, you are entitled to your belief. I just think it's worth mentioning another way of interpreting the scripture. So in this, I don't want to say dialogue, but them going back and forth, they started bringing in the Bible. They started bringing in different scriptures in the Bible and what it could mean. Like I said, I wish I would have had the whole, it would have been long though, the whole conversation. And basically, everybody's a bit confused, and I'm pretty sure it's not just me, it's not just them that posted, because our belief in God sometimes is a big question mark, you know. And what I mean by question mark is that we don't know how much control we have and how much control we don't have, if that makes sense. The reason why I can relate to this person when she say, you know, she lost a child, and when you pray, if something's already predetermined, like it says, you know, God already know the day, the hour things are going to happen, or things are already ordained to happen a certain way, then basically guess what? It's already planned. So when you sit in here saying, oh, I'm going to pray for this person, or I'm going to pray for the health of this person, or I'm going to pray for this person to be healed, or I'm going to pray for this, if it's in God's will, how can you stop that from happening with prayer? And that's what it all boils down to, this particular comment. Like, that's what they were kind of going back and forth on. And I, ever since before the loss of the girls, I felt like I could pray my way through any and everything. After the death of my girls, I literally became lost in prayer. I became lost in a lot of things. And, you know, faith, you know, certain scriptures, certain parts of the Bibles, it made me confused, you know, because it is true, like she mentioned in her comment, if something's supposed to already be part of God's will, and you're sitting here saying, like she mentioned, you kind of praying, it's kind of like you're trying to say, like, in the future you're trying to change up what's already ordained to happen, and that's not the case. I can't say that I've actually seen where somebody would pray for someone, and like there's no way you can tell if it's just God's plan or God's will for someone to be healed, or if it was healed based on prayer. You see what I'm saying? When someone like older, you know, gets sick or whatever, and they're on their dying bed and you're praying for them, and then all of a sudden they pass away, you hear the comment, well, they're healed eternally, so God did heal them. Then when they're continued to be on this earth living and they're still here with us, there's, you know, people say the comment, you know, look at God, won't he do it? You know, look at what God's doing, you know, blah, 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 blah. But how do we know, even though we're praying that that person heal, how do we know that God's like, no, I'm just not going to take that person at this time? You know, like that person's time is not right now. That person's time is in 50 years from now, or whatever the case may be, you know. And so it is a bit confusing. It does a little bit mess up your faith and all of it, because when you have faith, you're supposed to basically believe that it's already pretty much coming to pass, or going to come to pass, or know it's going to happen, or, you know, something of that nature. And when people say, oh, I have faith they're going to pull through, or I have faith this and the third, and then they don't pull through, and then it's like you still winning in a sense in the way you're saying it, because you're still saying, oh, they were healed eternally, so God healed them just not the way we wanted them to be healed. That's what I hear a lot of people saying. And it's like, but that's not what we prayed for. We didn't pray for God to take them and heal them. You know, we're specific. No, Lord, heal them, let them stay here, like let them not go, and it still don't work. So it's like I told y'all before, I had a whole video on my whole prayer life and how it has changed, and how I thank God more than I ask for things. Like, I don't sit here like, Lord, please let us, you know, find $1 million on the ground. Like, no, you know, or, you know, just stuff like that I don't do. You know, the only thing I really pray for is for his continued protection, as he been, you know, protecting us and stuff, you know. And I just do more thanking. I just thank him for, you know, the life that we're living. I thank for the food on the table. I thank for the jobs. I'm thankful for my kids and their good health, and my husband, and, you know, with him traveling, you know, the truck, you know, I thank him for keeping him and protecting him, you know. So I'm doing more thanking than I am doing asking. And the reason is because of the situation. Before that, oh, I would ask God for everything, you know, like, and Lord, let me have that 10-bedroom. No, I'm playing, not like that, but you know what I mean. So basically, I can relate to what she's saying in the post, because you have to realize that they say power is in the tongue. Okay, power is in the tongue. And be careful what you speak. And it's kind of like, okay, y'all seen that movie Final Destination, and I know it's kind of hard to relate that with this, but with Final Destination, there was basically something that was supposed to happen. The man, one of the kids forecasted, they seen it, they prophesized, whatever you want to call it, in whatever way you want to see it, and he got up, or she got up, whichever movie you're watching, whichever Final Destination you're watching. I think they have like 1 through 4 or something like now. Well, anyway, the person wakes up from this dream or thought or whatever they have in their mind going on, and they see that this event is going to take place, and guess what? It comes to pass. It happens exactly how they think it. So what happens is, when it happens, the person that thought of it tries to protect certain people from, I guess, getting hurt. Well, whenever in the end of the movie or whatever, basically everybody was supposed to die at a certain time, at a certain during the crash or during the explosion, they were supposed to die in a certain order, and it was all out of order due to somebody that had this you know, from them, this thought that they had, or this dream, or whatever you want to call it. They kind of stepped in and intervened a little bit. So when everybody was trying to prevent the next person from dying, they died anyway. Like, even whoever you were trying to save, they still ended up dying, because it was supposed to be, I guess, their time in that order. So it's kind of like with that too. It's kind of like in relation, it's like, if it's supposed to happen on whatever particular day, no matter how you pray, how big your prayer is, how big your prayer circle is, no matter if it's 2 or more gathered, it's still supposed to be God's will, right? God's will. So I don't know, like, what are y'all's thoughts, I guess, on that? Because it is one of those iffy situations, you know. I believe there's a higher power. I do. I believe that, you know, God is real. However, I feel like not everything in a Bible we can relate to at this time of day. Not everything. A lot of things we can, but I feel like to this day right now, there's just a lot of things that are so questionable when it comes to thy will be done versus you know, the power of the tongue versus all these different ways of thoughts and all these different, you know, processes that we learn growing up, and, you know, experiences of our own as adults and stuff like that. It's like me, if I prayed so hard for my babies to make it, how do you think that how would you think my prayer work for your children to make it? You know, your children, oh, they sick, please pray for my kids. Well, hell, it didn't work for me. So how would I even pray to save yours? Or why would I even pray, you know, if it's not going to be, if it wasn't beneficial for me, how would it be beneficial for you to try and say, you know what I mean? So that's, I guess, where this post and how I can relate to that or whatnot. Because we can pray all day. If something's in God's will, then we say, oh, that was in God's will. No, it was already ordained this way. It was already going to happen this way. You know, God already knew what's up, you know, like, even when you marry somebody, God know who you're going to marry, when you're going to marry them, or whatever case may be. Then, oh, well, you know, this wasn't supposed to happen. Well, it did, you know, and I guess this was, you know, what God's plan. Or did you pray for this particular person? Did you pray for this particular, you know, situation? Anyway, guys, I don't know. Like I said, I'm even more confused than I've ever been before. Yes, I still have a prayer life. Yes, I still believe. When people say pray, do I pray for them? I pray, but I don't pray wishfully, if that makes sense. I pray as in kind of, Lord, let your will be done. And I pray that, let's say if one of y'all say, you know, pray for me, I'm going through my fertility and stuff like that. I don't necessarily pray like, Lord, let that baby work, this and the third. You know, I'm more so like, Lord, you know her heart, you know that she, you know, is really, you know, wanting this. I pray that this is in your will for this to happen. That's how I pray. That's how I pray now. I may say, Lord, you know, like I speak it, like bring whatever 1,000,000 times closer than it was yesterday or day before, you know, for her, you know. So I feel like I'm still speaking it, putting it out there and bringing it to y'all. But as far as like, Lord, and, you know, let this sperm meet the egg and this, that, like, I don't necessarily pray like that anymore. I don't. I do more thanking. I do more rejoicing as if it already has happened. So I pray as if it already came to pass. Or I pray, I'm sorry, I thank God as if it already has passed. You know, the street that we want to move on, you know, for our house or whatever, I'm like, every time I ride, I'm like, Lord, I'm like, this is a street that, you know, we're going to be moving on. So I kind of speak it as if it's already happening or already has happened, versus praying for it to come to pass, praying for it to come, if that makes sense. So that's kind of my take on it, whatever. But like I said, you know, and everybody's not going to agree with me. I don't expect y'all to. We're all different. We all have different situations that we've been through to make us feel the way we feel. And I don't expect for every single one of you to agree with me. And I don't expect for all of you to disagree with me, you know. We're all adults and all human, and we're all going to experience things differently. Things are going to affect us all differently. There's some people, no matter what they go through, they're going to continue to stay with the same prayer. There are going to be some people that go through things and their prayer life changes. He said his grandmother was so strong in her faith. His grandmother would pray day and night, would study, would do this, would do that. And I feel like because he grew up with his grandmother, he's seen her day and night, in the church, out the church, in the church, out the, like that was her normal, like always serving God in some kind of way. And he basically was saying, like, not saying that she struggled, but you know, to the point where she's always looking for, okay, well, you know, not saying, like I said, not saying she struggled, but not saying that she was the richest person either, you know. And she prayed and she studied her Bible, and when she became down on her luck, or when she became ill, guess what? She prayed and it didn't change. And so him growing up, seeing this stuff, heard this stuff, and I feel like when a child grows up, or a person grows and sees that their parent or guardian or whoever, their prayer life is so strong, their whatever is so, you know, focus on God, to when they go through stuff and they see that nothing's changed, or it's getting worse, or whatever case may be, that it's not like hocus pocus to them. I feel like they think that, oh well, God is not real, or it's fake, or you know, that's your God that you pray to and look at what he did, you know, like that's how a lot of people, or him in particular, think or thought, because now he studied the Bible, okay, and a lot of things he know how to come back with certain things. Like people, he'll have full-blown arguments. He's actually had arguments with my stepbrother, like not arguments, but they go back and forth where they're quoting Bible verses and giving like situational instances that relates to that Bible verse or scripture in the Bible. And so he was never like this, and he changed drastically after his grandmother passed, because he was like, my grandmother, you know, prayed and prayed and prayed to be healed. You know, she prayed and she asked God to be healed. But see, the thing is too, I guess we don't know what her real prayer was. You know, she might have prayed in front of him and said, you know, and Lord, heal my body, but how we know she didn't say, Lord, if you got to take me to heal me? I don't know what her prayer was. So anywho, she ended up passing, and I feel like that had a lot to do because he was so close to his grandmother, and I guess he believed in God for healing here on earth. And I can see where he hurts. I can see where his frustration comes out. I can see where his bitterness come out towards God. In any situation where you're praying for a loved one to be here, or seeing them hurt and you constantly praying for healing, or whatnot. But I myself couldn't deny God, you know, as he has done. He's like, nope, not gonna do it, nope, there's no God, blah blah blah. And like, I mean, he's stuck on his word. Like, he'll argue you down about it pretty much. So he's changed. His whole persona, like his personality, him and everything about him has changed. He's not the same person as he used to be at all. He used to be this fun, laughing type person, and he's just like he's just kind of bitter because of seeing his grandmother go through this stuff. Excuse me. So anyway, what are your opinions? What are your comments? I cannot wait to read them because I know it's going to be a good discussional piece. And I guess what I'll do with all of your comments that you leave below, the discussion that you have below, we'll make this a part 2, and then maybe I'll come on live and we'll discuss everybody that made comments. We'll have a discussion about it, because I feel like it's good to have a discussion about it, and you know, see other people's views, and what may not make sense to me, you probably can say something to make it make sense, and I'm like, you know what, I ain't think of that, you know, you're right. Because like I said, my prayer life has totally changed. You know, it's definitely not the same. I don't see that my relationship with God has gotten stronger after the girls. I feel like it's kind of the same, stagnant in a little bit, like just kind of mediocre in a sense, because of the life situations that happen, you know, life, you know, trials and tribulations and stuff. But you know, I still love God, and I thank him for my blessings that I do have every day. I thank him for everything I do have. And you know, I just can't deny, you know, him at all. So, but anyway, like I said, I'll come back on live. Hopefully, maybe we have a very busy weekend next weekend, so maybe next Sunday possibly we can have a good discussion. via live, hopefully. So fingers crossed on that. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here because I've wasted enough time of yours, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.